Hello everyone, I just wanted to make a little video because I've had some realizations recently and I'm hoping that they might help you. So here they are, I've got some notes. So the first one was I was getting annoyed and upset about a situation that had happened in the past, or a situation that had reoccurred in the past where I felt like I'd been bullied, and there's quite a range with that. So I'm not, physically bullied, but mentally bullied. Like I couldn't stand up for myself. I was getting annoyed and frustrated because I couldn't say what I wanted to say. And I thought I dealt with this and kind of solved that issue. And I thought that was it. But then there was one night when I was this one situation kept going round and round in my head. And I just thought, why? I thought I've dealt with this. So I just took a step back and just asked myself really quietly. I said, well, what is it? What is this problem? What have I not yet realised? And this is what came to mind. So when this was happening, I feel like I couldn't stand up for myself. I wasn't confident enough, and my own opinion wasn't strong enough. Like I didn't know myself. I didn't know who I was, and I certainly didn't love myself. So that was what was creating the situation. And so I also realised that I didn't believe in myself. So it was all about me. It was all about my self-love, which I didn't have much of. So I was like, okay, what's the difference between then and now? And now I've worked on myself a lot, especially over this last year. And I've realised that I do believe in myself. I know who I am now a lot more. And I do love myself. Yes, there's still work to be done, but I do so much more. And I think the realisation of that, I had to realise that was the progress I've made to help me. I think that's why that situation was going round and round in my head in the first place, just to help me come to this realisation that I am a much stronger person than I was then. Or at least I now realise that I was strong back then, but I didn't believe in myself, and now I do. So that was a massive, massive realisation for me. So I hope that helps you. Let me just see if there's anything else I've written down here. I also realised that going to the other person, that I think everyone experiences this, that they don't love themselves enough. They don't believe in themselves enough, and they don't, they don't love themselves, they don't believe in themselves, they don't know who they are. So they're desperately trying to get you to agree with them, whichever situation that might be, so as to validate their own beliefs, as they aren't confident enough about them themselves. So if they, and this is all, subconscious, but if they have certain beliefs and they say, right, this is the way the world must be, they then have to try and, anyone who opposes that opinion, they have to try and convince them that their opinion is the correct opinion. And by pushing that opinion onto somebody else and making them, you can't make anybody do anything, but making them believe that your values, so you're making that other person believe the same values as you, it then validates your belief system in yourself. Whereas if you didn't need validation and you didn't need somebody else to validate your own opinion, if you believed in yourself enough and loved yourself and knew yourself enough, then you wouldn't need that extra validation and we wouldn't have these big problems. So that was, again, another massive realisation that it's not just me that this is happening to. It's pretty much everybody, whether you're in the bullying side or you're being the bullied person. We're all going through the same problems and the same issues, and we're all, in a way, struggling. So I'm hoping that I've made sense and you can understand where I was coming from with that and the realisation that I had, because that was just mind-blowing for me. I thought that was really, really good. It really helped me. And when this happened, I felt like, so every time there was an argument or a disagreement or somebody tried to force their opinions on me, I felt like I'd failed, and not being able to speak out. I felt like I'd failed. And then that feeling of failure brought on lots of more negativity and negative feelings about myself, and it was just awful. And then I realised that, well, what is failing? How am I defining this? And also I was constantly on guard, so I was getting anxiety going into a potential situation where somebody could force their opinions on me, and I was almost like on guard for an attack, of something that may never ever happen, but somebody who might, like a confrontation or anything like that. So this is ridiculous, can't go on like this. So I also realised that when I was in these situations, a lot of the time I would keep my mouth shut. Not necessarily because I felt that other person was taking control or undermining me, but sometimes I would keep my mouth shut because I didn't want to hurt the other person's feelings. And keeping my mouth shut wasn't necessarily the best thing for me. So that's why I then felt like I was a failure, because I hadn't spoken up, I hadn't spoken my truth, and I'd hidden who I was, and so I felt a failure. And then I thought, if I go into another situation like that, I can't fail again, because every time I failed, I felt worse and worse and worse. And then I realised, going back to the what is failing, I was like, well, I don't think I've really failed at all, because yes, in those situations I've not been able to speak my truth and I've not been able to get across my opinion, but I have stayed true to who I am. I've not changed who I am. I've not changed and become a bully myself. I've not tried to force, as far as I know, my opinions on other people in a negative way. So I haven't failed because I've stayed true to who I am. And so I thought, well, if I haven't failed, then I've won, haven't I? So whatever that argument was is irrelevant. I have won because I've stayed true to myself. And again, I thought that was, and I hope this helps you as well, because I felt that however somebody has treated me, I haven't crossed over, if you like, to the dark side. I've stayed in like a place of love most of the time. You get angry, but I've tried to stay, and even without trying, I've stayed true to who I am. So I'm like, well, I've won, because I see all these kind of incidents as little lessons along the way, testing me. And so I think, oh yeah, I thought I'd failed all those tests, but I've actually won. It's like I'm not a failure, I'm a winner, which was really good. So I hope you agree with that. And it's also about not needing somebody else's opinion to validate who you are. And that's what a lot of people, and yeah, be guilty of it, absolutely. Needing somebody else to validate your opinion. And then you get the opposite of that, where if somebody disagrees with you, you then feel that your opinion is being attacked. So I've had another realisation as well, where I was I was in a kind of a disagreement, I would say disagreement recently. And I started to feel that, not that I started to doubt my opinion, which happened in the past, so I was like, well, that's a good step forward, but that it was being challenged, my opinion was being challenged, and I didn't like it, and lots of feeling of frustration and anger and everything came up, and I took myself away, like I would normally do. I'm not suggesting this is something you should do, this is just what I normally do. I took myself away, and I started to analyse what was going on and how I was feeling, and I thought, right, I'm not feeling very good. I was almost in tears. I'm thinking, I'm going to have to feel through whatever I'm experiencing, and I have to let it out, and I'm going to have a cry. And I was just about, I think a few little tears were coming down, and I was just about to go into a full-on cry when all of a sudden I just went, oh, I'm playing the victim. I'm in that victim mentality. And as soon as I realised this, it was like a switch, like a magic switch. The emotion just went completely. As soon as I'd come to that realisation of what was going on and realised where that emotion was coming from, it just disappeared, which has never happened to me before. And I was amazed by it. I was like, it's that easy. And it felt easy. It felt really, really easy. And the whole situation kind of just diminished. The anger, the frustration, everything just went, boop, gone. So I think if you can figure out what it is that's causing it, and this has taken me a long time, but which is why I'm making this video, because I don't want it to take a long time for everybody else. I want you to kind of go, oh yes, that's what happened to me in the past, or something might happen in the future, and you go, oh, that's what that is, so that you don't have to spend years going, oh, what is it? Why am I feeling like this? So hopefully that's kind of helpful to you. And just lastly, another realisation I had was when I was around somebody who, again, I felt that their opinions were being kind of put on me. And again, I don't mean that to sound like a victim, like, oh, I'm being, it's just how I was feeling at that time. And what I realised was that that person was triggering me. So there was something that they were doing and saying that was triggering something in me and making me a little bit frustrated. And so I thought, well, I know this, I shouldn't be going through this now, but I was being triggered. So instead of going, right, I've got to change that person, I'm blaming that person for the way I'm feeling, and I need to change them, which is like, it's ridiculous. When has ever anyone really, apart from when people want to be changed, ever been able to change somebody else? It's just, it's not worth it. So I realised that, you can't really change somebody else, and you shouldn't try to. You should concentrate on yourself, and you're the person that can change yourself. So I was then looking and going, right, well, what are they triggering inside of me? And I started to then look at all the different things that were coming up, and then trying to deal with those. And I took myself again away, this in a positive light this time, and I just started to just breathe, step away from the situation, come into my heart centre, just breathe into my heart centre. I was also standing in the sun, which was fabulous. And I was just breathing and calming down and just relaxing my mind, relaxing my emotions. And then once you kind of calm the emotions down, you can then start to analyse what's going on. So that was something else I realised that I knew about the triggering, and I knew that it's not somebody else's fault as such, it's how I respond to the reality that is presented to me. But again, it's just lesson after lesson after lesson. I forgot, and that situation, I was grateful for that situation then, because it then reminded me of what I still needed to be working on within myself. So I hope those things have helped, and I wish you all well.